James Creedon is here now with Media Watch. James, it's good to see you. We're going to start with this vaping news. Now, vaping is what people who've given up smoking do, and everybody thinks it's a bit healthier. You're not ingesting all the tar, are you? The rest of it, but you've got all these different flavours: cotton candy, strawberry, slushy, that kind of thing. But alarmingly, several people in the United States have died from vaping-linked diseases, and they could soon be banned in the US.
That's right. Now, it's made waves. Here's an article in Le Monde from a couple of days ago, so it's been getting attention outside of the US because I suppose this is a global trend now. People are moving towards vaping as a means of weaning themselves off cigarettes, or just... And here's the thing, just, trying out vaping because it's cool, right? And hashtag vape tricks. There's a whole load of them on
you can't
YouTube, social media.
Flick a cigarette butt in Paris without hitting one of these vaping shops, can you?
That's it. They're everywhere. You're absolutely right.
It looks
and
cool,
the major concern is that young people, teenagers and even young
you watch
preteens
videos like this.
are looking at videos like this and they're like, God, that looks really cool. I'm going to try that out.
Such a shame because cigarette smoking had really lost its cachet, hadn't it?
It has. I mean, in France, I think it's still... I saw he must have been 12 or 13, a guy smoking in the street yesterday. But but France is maybe a bit of an exception in that regard. But mostly speaking, it's falling out of fashion.
It's not seen as cool, though, is it, smoking?
No, not to the same extent as it was.
As when we were youngsters.
That's it.
When I was.
Well, Melania Trump doesn't like it at all. She's got a teenage son.
Not with that skin.
I am deeply concerned, about the growing epidemic of e-cigarettes. So she has championed this cause, and it's put it front and centre of policy making in the US. Now, here's one medical professional with a huge following on Twitter, Eugene Gu. A whole generation of teens and even young kids are vaping flavoured e-cigarettes marketed like candy and getting addicted to nicotine. Vaping should be used as a smoking cessation tool for adults, but it has clearly become an epidemic for our children. He went on to talk about now, from his point of view, the 6 unfortunate people who lost their lives vaping, it was more than likely black market THC.
Vaping.
Right. And black market stuff, which would be more dangerous. But companies like Juul, which is one of the big manufacturers, and they are actually owned in part by Big Tobacco. So some people think, this is a separate thing.
Yeah, they just shifted their resources, didn't they?
That's
the same companies making money.
So from his point of view, this is really just pure evil. That's what he says about it. Others say actually attacking vaping is going to, help out the old tobacco industry, even if we've just mentioned the fact that there's bridges between the two. Make America smoke again. In any case, lots of reactions on it, Laura. I'll just finish with a couple more, this is one of the more obvious, I suppose, comments that has been made. Banning vapes and not firearms. Where are the priorities of the president and of the US government to protect our kids? We have to do something about vaping. And here is another cartoon in that regard: the smoking vape versus the smoking gun. So some people thinking that it shouldn't really be top priority.
Guns have definitely killed a lot more people. No one is arguing with that statistic. All right, shall we talk about a story a little closer to home?
Yes.
This is Richard Ferrand, the president of the National Assembly, the Parliament. Here, he has been placed under formal investigation. That's the term to use in France.
Yes.
For financial misconduct, which is bad news for Emmanuel Macron because it's the second of his close allies, of his ministers, to come under fire for something like this.
That's right. So it's one of the biggest stories in France today. There he is, a corruption probe for Monsieur Ferrand. And of course, people have been digging on Twitter for all of the old comments. You see, Richard Ferrand was very, very tough on one François Fillon back in the day when he was put under formal investigation. And Mr. Ferrand basically said that he's lost all moral authority, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He cannot stay on in the role. Well, basically, Richard Ferrand has been supported by the president, the prime minister, and all sorts of others, and he is going to stay on.
And he says he's innocent.
He says he's innocent, exactly. But Emmanuel Macron, comments that he made in the past about having an irreproachable kind of level of ethics in public life have been, dug up. Also, the Prime Minister is saying that if ever he were to be put under formal investigation, because this is a thing that this is a case that goes back a number of years now, that things would change then. So you see, there's been quite a lot of people saying that there's a double standard here, or at least a degree of hypocrisy. Lots of comments on it. I was surprised that I didn't see more comments on what a bad week it's been for speakers of houses the world over, Laura.
No.
I was searching frantically, thinking somebody must have made this comment.
Only you.
No one did. So
Wow.
I did. I tweeted about
Well
it.
done. Oh, that was you, was it?
No, that wasn't me. That's an old one.
Oh, right.
Because they did have a very different style. John Burke was known for
Yeah, John Burko.
bellowing out
Gone.
order, and Richard Ferrand is very formal. In any case,
Mes chers collègues,
yes, mes chers collègues, put the calme s'il vous plaît. So a bad week for speakers of houses. Of course, there's no link between those two stories, but indeed, it is a blow for Emmanuel Macron at a time when he's going to be pushing forward reforms such as pension reforms and whatnot, which is one of the reasons why
That
we have
starts
that big
kicking
strike
off tomorrow, doesn't it?
And I'm not working tomorrow anyway, so that's
All right, well,
I won't have to deal with it.
Lucky for some.
Well, you're not working.
I will be.
Sorry,
you, James.
sorry for you.
Thank you very much. I'll be coming in on my bicycle. All right, James Queedon there. Now,